Your baby is watching you right now. Not just looking, not just tracking light and movement. Watching, reading, waiting. And here is what almost no one tells new parents. Your baby already knows what joy feels like. They knew it before they were born. It is wired into them at a biological level so deep that nothing life throws at them can completely erase it. But here is the part that changes everything. That joy, the real kind, the kind that builds a brain, that wires a nervous system for resilience and love, and an unshakable sense of being okay in the world, it doesn't come from toys. It doesn't come from schedules or sleep training or the right kind of educational stimulation. It comes from 10 very ordinary, very simple, completely free things that you can do today. Things that are already within reach. Things you might already be doing without knowing what they're actually doing inside your baby. Stay with me, because by the time we reach number 7, you are going to see a moment you've had 100 times in a completely different light. And it will make you want to go find your baby and do it again right now. Let's start. Here is the big idea underneath everything we're about to explore. Happiness in a baby is not a mood. It is not a temporary state that flickers in and out based on whether they're full or tired or overstimulated. At the deepest level, the happiness of a baby, the settled, expansive, lit-up aliveness that you see in a truly thriving infant, is a neurological condition. It is a state of the brain and the nervous system, and it is built day by day, interaction by interaction, through very specific kinds of experiences. What modern developmental neuroscience has discovered is both humbling and hopeful. The architecture of your baby's joy is being constructed right now, in real time, out of the ordinary moments of daily life. The smile you return, the sound you make back at them, the way you hold them when nothing is wrong, the ritual that tells them what comes next. These are not soft, feel-good additions to good parenting. These are the actual building materials of a brain that knows how to be happy, a nervous system that defaults to safety instead of threat, a child who will grow up knowing, at a level beneath language, that the world is fundamentally okay. And it begins today with 10 things, starting with this. For a long time, the dominant conversation about baby happiness focused almost entirely on needs. Is the baby fed, dry, warm, not in pain? Then the baby should be fine, happy even. Happiness in this model was simply the absence of discomfort. A baby who is not crying is a happy baby. And built on top of that belief came a whole generation of parenting products, all designed to eliminate discomfort as efficiently as possible. Better formulas, better diapers, better swings and bouncers and white noise machines. All of it useful, none of it the point. Because what the neuroscience now shows is that genuine infant happiness, the kind that builds the brain, that wires resilience, that becomes the foundation for a happy adult, is not the absence of discomfort. It is the presence of something. Something that cannot be manufactured or purchased. Something that requires another human being to provide. Something that is, at its core, relational. And that changes everything about where we should be looking. In the late 1970s, a psychologist named Jaak Panksepp began mapping what he called the primary emotional systems of the mammalian brain. These are circuits that exist beneath thought, beneath language, beneath culture, hardwired into the architecture of every brain that has ever lived. And one of those systems, the one he identified as the most ancient and the most powerful driver of positive behavior across all species, he called the seeking system. It is the circuit that activates when we explore, when we discover, when we connect, when we are genuinely, actively engaged with the living world around us. And here is the astonishing thing. Newborn babies arrive with this system already running. It is one of the first systems to come online. Before vision is fully developed, before motor control, before any of the things we associate with advanced cognition, the seeking system is active, bright, and hungry for exactly the kinds of experiences we are about to describe. At Harvard, developmental psychologists studying what they call positive affect in infants found that the baseline happiness of a baby, their resting state of joy, is not randomly distributed. It is powerfully predicted by the specific quality and type of interactions they have with their primary caregivers. Not the quantity, Not the expense, not the credentials of the parent, the quality, the attunement, the specific things that reliably activate a baby's ancient, hardwired joy circuits. 10 of them in particular. Here is the hidden truth that runs underneath all 10 of these things. Your baby was born already knowing how to be happy. The blueprint is already there. The circuits are already present. What they need from you is not instruction. It is not enrichment in the way we usually mean that word. What they need is activation. Specific, simple, profoundly human kinds of contact that say to a developing nervous system, yes, this is real. Yes, you are real. Yes, the world is a place worth exploring. Yes, you are loved in a way that is unconditional and present and alive. When those activations happen consistently, not perfectly, just consistently, the brain does something remarkable. It wires itself for joy as a default state. It builds neural pathways that make happiness not a lucky accident, but a home the child can return to again and again throughout their entire life. 10 everyday things, starting right now. But here is where it gets even more beautiful. Because unlike the things that unintentionally hurt a baby, which require awareness and change, the things that genuinely make your baby happy are things that feel good to do. They are things that, when you understand what is actually happening inside your baby while you're doing them, will make you want to do them more. Joy is contagious at the neurological level. When your baby's joy circuits activate, yours do too. This is not coincidence. This is co-regulation in its most beautiful form. You are designed to delight in each other. Let me show you the 10 ways that design expresses itself. Number 1. The mirror that lights up. Picture this. You are in a foreign country. You don't speak the language. You don't know the customs. You don't know if the people around you are friendly or dangerous, welcoming or indifferent. And then someone across the room catches your eye, and they smile at you. A real smile, the kind that reaches the eyes, the kind that says, I see you. You are welcome here. This place is safe. Now multiply that feeling by 100. That is what your smile does to your baby. The human smile is the single most powerful social signal in the mammalian world. And for a baby whose entire survival depends on reading the emotional state of their caregiver, your smile is not just an expression. It is information. It is medicine. It is a direct injection of safety into their developing nervous system. When you smile at your baby, genuinely, with your eyes as well as your mouth, you activate something called the Duchenne smile response in their mirror neuron system. They don't just see your smile, they feel it. Their own facial muscles begin to mirror yours. Their brain begins to pattern match the experience of smiling from the inside. Developmental researcher Beatrice Beebe at Columbia University has spent decades filming mother-infant interactions in slow motion, frame by frame. What she found is that the moments of genuine mutual smiling, when both faces light up simultaneously, when they are truly in it together, are among the most neurologically significant moments in early development. These are the moments when the brain learns what joy in connection feels like. Not staged smiling, not performing happiness, the real thing. The unrehearsed, spontaneous, I cannot help myself delight of seeing this small person. That smile is a brain builder. Use it freely. Number 2, the voice that feels like home. Your baby knew your voice before they knew your face. From approximately 26 weeks in the womb, the auditory system is developed enough to begin processing sound. And for the remaining weeks of pregnancy, the most consistent, the most rhythmically familiar, the most emotionally rich sound in that baby's entire acoustic world was your voice. The cadence of it, the particular music of how you speak when you're relaxed, the warmth underneath the words when you're at ease. And here is what this means for every conversation you have with your baby now. Your voice, when it is warm and unhurried and genuinely present, is one of the most powerful happiness triggers available to you. Not because of the words, not because of what you're saying, because of what your voice feels like. Researchers at the University of Montreal found that hearing their mother's voice activated specific regions of a baby's brain associated with language processing, reward, and social bonding simultaneously. The same areas that light up in adults during experiences of intense pleasure. Talk to your baby. Narrate your day. Describe what you're making for dinner in a voice that sounds like you're telling the most interesting story in the world. Sing, even badly, especially badly. Your voice is a love language they have been fluent in since before they were born. Every time you use it with warmth, you are speaking directly to the most ancient part of who they are. Number 3, the dance nobody taught you. There is a choreography that happens between a parent and a baby that no one consciously learns. It emerges on its own, out of love and attention and the biological pull toward this small person. You lean in, they respond. They make a sound. You make it back. They kick with excitement. You match their energy. They go still with curiosity. You go still with them. It looks like nothing from the outside. From the inside of your baby's brain, it is everything. This back and forth, this dance of mutual responsiveness, has a scientific name: contingent interaction. And it is one of the most powerful neurological events that can happen in early infancy. When a caregiver responds contingently, when their response is specifically timed to the baby's behavior, genuinely reflecting and building on what the baby just did, the baby's brain releases dopamine. The reward circuit activates. The message is written in chemistry. I did something and the world responded. My actions matter. I have power in this relationship. This is joy. You are not just playing with your baby when you do this. You are teaching them that they are effective, that they can influence the world around them. That connection is something they can create and sustain. Those lessons, wired in before language, become the foundation of confidence, curiosity, and the kind of joyful engagement with life that people spend decades in therapy trying to recover. And you can give it by simply dancing. Number 4, the body that says safe. Hold your baby against your chest. Left side, ideally. Close enough that they can hear your heartbeat. Feel what happens, not just emotionally, physiologically. Within moments of that contact, measurable things begin to occur in both of your bodies. Oxytocin releases, cortisol drops, heart rate synchronizes, the vagal nerve activates, breathing deepens. Your baby's body is literally calming itself by borrowing the regulation of your body. And in that state of biological safety, something remarkable happens. The brain is free to grow. Because the brain cannot do two things at once. It cannot simultaneously manage a stress response and build new neural connections. When the stress system is activated, growth stops. Resources are diverted. The entire organism focuses on survival. But when the stress system is quiet, when the body says, "I am safe, I am held, the world is warm," the brain opens. Curiosity activates. The seeking system comes online. New connections form at a rate that simply does not happen any other way. Dr. Tiffany Field at the Touch Research Institute has spent 30 years documenting what happens to babies who receive consistent, warm physical contact. More robust immune function, better sleep, higher baseline oxytocin, more rapid cognitive development, greater emotional resilience, all from being held. Your arms are not just comfortable for your baby, they are optimal conditions for your baby's brain. Every time you hold them, you are literally creating the neurological environment in which happiness becomes possible. Number 5, the name that makes them real. There is a moment, usually somewhere in the 2nd or 3rd month of life, when something shifts. You say your baby's name, and they turn. Not randomly, not by accident. They turn because they know that sound is theirs, because they have already, in just a few months of life, mapped that specific sequence of sounds onto something they recognize as themselves. That moment is not small. That moment is the beginning of identity. When you say your baby's name with warmth, not to get their attention, but simply as an expression of who they are, simply as an act of recognition, you do something at the neurological level that no other sound can replicate. You activate the brain's self-referential network. You strengthen the neural structures that will eventually become the sense of self. And because you are saying their name with love, with warmth, with the particular quality of delight that parents have when they look at someone they adore, you are also wiring the experience of being oneself to the experience of being loved. That is not a small thing. For many people, spending their whole adult life trying to untangle their identity from shame or unworthiness, what they are really trying to do is go back and rewire this connection. You can wire it correctly from the start, just by saying their name like it is the most beautiful word you know, because to you, it is. Number 6, the rhythm that tells the truth. Babies are not just living in time, they are experiencing time in a way that adults have almost completely forgotten. For a baby, every moment is novel. Every sensation is arriving for what feels like the first time. And in a world that is entirely new and largely unreadable, there is one thing that gives a baby's nervous system profound relief: knowing what comes next. Predictability is not boring to a baby. It is deeply, physiologically comforting. When your baby begins to anticipate the bath that comes before bed, the song that comes before sleep, the particular way you pick them up, the sequence of a feeding routine, their cortisol drops before the comforting event even begins. The anticipation itself is calming. This is because predictability activates the brain's pattern recognition systems in a way that releases dopamine. The pleasure of the brain successfully predicting what comes next is a genuine neurochemical reward. And for a baby who cannot yet understand words or time or cause and effect, who is navigating an entirely mysterious world, the experience of life being predictable, of sequences repeating, of the people they love behaving consistently, is one of the deepest sources of joy available to them. Ritual is not repetition. Ritual is a promise. And a baby who lives inside kept promises has a nervous system that can afford to relax, explore, and grow. Number 7. The look that lasts a lifetime. There is a thing you do that you probably don't even notice you do. You look at your baby. Just look. Not to check if something is wrong, not while doing something else, just a full, unhurried, genuinely interested look at their face. And for the duration of that look, everything about your face communicates the same message. You are the most interesting thing in the world to me right now. I am not looking at anything else. I am here, and you are enough. What happens inside your baby in that moment is one of the most beautiful things in developmental psychology. Their brain activates a response researchers call felt security, a full-body neurological state in which the threat system goes quiet, the exploratory system comes online, and the brain experiences what can only be described as a cascade of joy. Heart rate settles, muscles relax, eyes brighten, the face opens. You have seen this, that particular quality of absolute openness that a baby has when they feel completely seen. That look they give you back, the one that goes all the way in. John Bowlby, the father of attachment theory, spent his career studying what it is that a baby actually needs from a caregiver, and his conclusion, arrived at after decades of research, was deceptively simple. A baby needs to know that they are the object of their caregiver's joy. Not their obligation, not their responsibility, their joy. That look, the one where you are simply, genuinely, unreservedly glad that this person exists, is one of the most powerful gifts one human being can give another. And you have given it, many times, often without knowing what it was doing inside them. Now you know. Number 8. The freedom to fall. Watch a baby who feels safe. They explore without hesitation. They reach for things at the edge of their ability. They try things they can't do yet. They fail, look at you for a moment, see that your face is calm and interested and warm, and they try again. This is not just cute. This is the direct, observable signature of a nervous system that has been given permission to grow. Developmental psychologist Mary Ainsworth spent years studying what she called the secure base phenomenon. When a baby has a secure attachment, when they trust at a deep level that their caregiver is available and responsive, they use that caregiver as a launching pad. They go out, they explore, they take developmental risks. And when it gets to be too much, they come back, they refuel, and they go out again. The emotional safety you provide is not keeping your baby in place. It is what makes their exploration possible. When your baby tries to roll over and can't quite do it, and you watch with calm delight rather than anxious intervention, when they struggle with something at the edge of their ability and your face says, "You've got this. I'm not worried. You are doing something profound. You are telling their nervous system, effort is safe here. Failure is not an emergency. Trying is worth it. That message, received in the first year of life, becomes the emotional substrate of every creative risk, every difficult conversation, every brave choice they will make for the rest of their lives. Number 9, the silly that is secretly sacred. Play, real play. Unself-conscious, slightly ridiculous, making weird noises because the baby loves it play. The peekaboo that makes them shriek, the face that makes them dissolve into laughter. The game with no rules and no purpose except mutual delight. Here is what is actually happening neurologically in those moments of pure play. Neurologist Jaak Panksepp, the same researcher who identified the seeking system, spent years studying what happens in the brain during what he called rough and tumble play. And what he found was that playful, joyful social interaction activates more neural systems simultaneously than almost any other experience. The seeking system, the care system, the joy circuits, the social brain, the motor system, the attention system, all at once, all in integration, all building connections between regions of the brain that, when they are connected, produce a human being who is curious, socially intelligent, emotionally resilient, and capable of genuine happiness. Play is not a break from development. Play is the primary mechanism of development. It is how the brain builds itself when conditions are safe enough to explore freely. Every time you sit on the floor and make a ridiculous face that makes your baby laugh so hard their whole body participates, you are doing neuroscience. You are building a brain. You are wiring joy as a state that is possible, available, and tied to the presence of another human being. That is not small. That is everything. Number 10, the return. This last one is the quietest, the simplest, and in many ways the most profound. It is the moment you come back. After the distress, the reconnection. After the absence, the return. After the hard moment, the repair. After the time apart, the reunion. After the day, the coming home. Developmental science has identified what it calls the rupture and repair cycle as one of the most powerful positive experiences in the parent-infant relationship. And the reason is deeply counterintuitive. Perfect attunement, if it were even possible, would actually deprive a baby of one of the most important lessons a nervous system can learn: that difficult moments end, that the people you love come back, that connection, once lost, can be restored. When you leave for an hour and you come back with warmth, with presence, with the full quality of your attention, when you have a difficult feeding and then hold your baby afterwards with gentleness, when you misread a cue and then notice the misread and return, something extraordinary happens. The baby's brain learns that the world is repairable, that relationships survive difficulty, that love is not fragile. That lesson, absorbed without language, without conscious understanding, purely through the repeated experience of rupture followed by repair, becomes the emotional architecture of resilience, the foundation from which a person can face difficulty without being destroyed by it, because somewhere below thought they know, this will not last. Connection is possible. I will not be alone in this. You give your baby that gift every time you come back, every time you repair, every time you return, every single time. I want you to stay with something for a moment. As you've been listening to these 10 things, did you notice something? You are already doing most of them. The smile you can't help giving when they look at you, the silly voice, the way you hold them just a little longer than you need to. The moment you come back after a hard bedtime and look at them asleep and feel something that has no adequate name. That is not random. That is your biology doing exactly what it was designed to do, meeting your baby's biology exactly where it needs to be met. What changes today is not what you do. What changes is what you know about what you're doing. Because a parent who understands that their smile is building a brain, that their voice is wiring a nervous system, that their return after absence is teaching resilience, that parent brings a different quality of presence to those ordinary moments. Not a performing quality, not a pressure-filled, am I doing it right quality? A knowing quality. this matters and I am here for it quality. And your baby will feel the difference. Here is the deeper truth underneath all 10 of these things. Everything we have described today, the smile, the voice, the touch, the play, the return, is not just good for your baby. It is what human beings are designed for. We are a social species. Our brains evolved not in isolation, but in the context of close, warm, physically connected relationships. And the neuroscience of human happiness, across all ages in every culture ever studied, consistently points to the same finding. The quality of our close relationships is the single strongest predictor of human happiness and health. More than wealth, more than health, more than achievement, more than any external circumstance. Which means that when you sit on the floor and play with your baby, when you hold them against your chest and feel their breathing slow, when you smile back at them in that first morning light, you are not just making a baby happy. You are practicing the most ancient and the most important human skill there is, and you are receiving it as much as you are giving it. The joy in your baby's face is activating your own seeking system, your own reward circuits, your own ancient, hardwired hunger for exactly this kind of connection. You were built for this, and this was built for you. Before we close, there is one thing I want you to hold alongside everything you've learned today. None of these 10 things require you to be perfect. None of them require sustained, exhausting performance of happiness or presence. What the research actually shows is that it is not the peak moments that matter most. It is not the best day at the park or the most magical morning. It is the texture of the ordinary, the cumulative effect of consistent warmth across the 10,000 unremarkable moments of an average week. A smile here, a returned sound there, a bath that always comes before the song, a return that is always warm. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. Regularity is more powerful than perfection. And the profound, almost startling implication of this is you don't need more time. You don't need a better schedule or more money or a different house or a more patient version of yourself. You need the moments you already have, met with the quality of attention and warmth that you already possess and that you are already giving more than you know. The only thing that changes today is your awareness. And awareness, once arrived, changes everything. There's a moment in early parenthood that almost every parent describes, usually long after the fact, usually with a kind of quiet awe. A moment when the baby was just lying there, not doing anything in particular, not smiling on cue, not performing, not being remarkable in any obvious way. And something happened. The light was a certain way. Or they made a small sound, or they curled their hand around your finger for no reason. And you felt it. Something opened in you that you didn't know was there. Some chamber of the heart that had been waiting your whole life for exactly this small, unremarkable person to unlock it. That feeling is not sentiment. That feeling is neurobiology doing what it was designed to do across 300 million years of mammalian evolution. Two nervous systems recognizing each other, two seeking systems reaching simultaneously toward exactly what they were built to find. Your baby arrived in the world with everything they need to know how to be happy. They were born with that knowledge encoded in their cells. What they need from you is not instruction or optimization or the right kind of enrichment. They need you, your presence, your warmth, your genuine, uncomplicated delight in who they are. And you have that. You have had it since before they were born. You are already giving it in ways you don't even notice. Every smile, every returned sound, every moment of holding, every silly face, every return after every absence. You are building something that will outlast both of you, something that will live in the nervous system of the person your baby will become, and in the nervous systems of the people your baby will one day love. You are the origin of a lineage of joy, and it begins today, in the ordinary moments, with the 10 simple things you now know. Go be with your baby. So here's my question for you today. Of these 10 things, which one surprised you most? Which one made you think of a moment you've already had with your baby and see it differently? Tell me in the comments. because this community of parents who want to understand what is actually happening inside their babies, who want to show up with knowledge as well as love, is one of the most important conversations we can be having right now. And if this video gave you something today, one shift in how you'll approach tomorrow morning, one moment you'll meet differently, one piece of knowledge you'll carry into the ordinary Tuesday of your week, share this with a parent who needs to hear it. Because the most powerful thing we can do for the next generation isn't a program or a product or a piece of advice. It is this: understanding what is actually happening inside the smallest, most extraordinary people in our lives, and choosing to meet it with presence. And in the next video, the one I want you to make sure you don't miss, we go even deeper. Because we've talked today about what makes your baby happy. Next time, we're going to explore something that will change how you understand your own emotional life. The science of how the joy you create in your baby actually rewires your own brain. How becoming the source of someone else's happiness makes you neurologically capable of more happiness yourself. It is some of the most quietly revolutionary science I have ever encountered, and it connects everything we've talked about today into something even bigger. Subscribe, because that video is on its way. And when it arrives, everything you've learned today will open into something you didn't expect. I'll see you there.